Why does a simple stroll that once felt liberating now seem to leave your knees achy, your hips sore, and your energy lagging for days afterward? For many folks past 70, taking a brisk walk can feel like the most natural way to stay active, maintain a healthy heart, and relish the fresh air. But what happens when those walks stretch longer and longer? When a single hour turns into 2 or 3 day after day? Too often, we hear about the benefits of walking and how it's safe for all ages. Yet, there's a hidden side most people don't see. For older adults, pushing those walks to extremes can actually do more harm than good. If you've been wondering why your body feels worn out after one of these extended strolls, or if your daily walks have started to become a source of stress instead of joy, then it's time to dig deeper. Long walks do have their benefits, but beyond a certain point, they can trigger a cascade of physical and emotional strains that overshadow the gains, especially if your body is showing subtle signs it needs a different approach. Have you ever finished a long afternoon walk only to notice that your ankles and knees continue to ache well into the evening? You might chalk it up to aging joints, as though it's some unavoidable sentence. But often, that aching is your body's way of saying it's been taxed beyond a healthy limit. Cartilage and connective tissues wear down naturally over time. When you were 50, your knees might have bounced back easily. Now, at 70 or beyond, repetitive stress from lengthy walks can escalate faster than you think. Those little twinges you brush off aren't just passing annoyances. They can develop into chronic inflammation or persistent discomfort if you keep ignoring them. Linda is 72. She's always loved the quiet calm of an evening stroll. It soothes her mind, helps her sleep, and keeps her spirits high. A few years ago, she decided to double her walking time, convinced that more steps could only bring more health benefits. At first, it felt fantastic. She saw a boost in her endurance and even lost a bit of extra weight. But she quickly found herself dealing with stubborn knee pain she never had before. It crept in slowly, a dull ache after each walk, then a sharper throb that lingered for days. Linda fought through it, assuming her body would adapt. Instead, she ended up at her doctor's office discussing possible joint injections. The physician explained that Linda's extended walks were placing repetitive strain on her cartilage, which had already become thinner and less robust with age. Her healthy habit had crossed the line into overuse. If this kind of story resonates with you, you're not alone. Many older adults jump into longer walks, thinking walking is low impact, so it must be fine to do for hours. It is lower impact than running, yes, but it's not impact-free. Your joints still absorb each stride. When your cartilage is no longer as resilient, the cumulative effect of long walks can be profound. It might start with an occasional ache, but over weeks and months, that mild discomfort can become a chronic companion, your body's plea for moderation. It's not just about joints, either. Consider your cardiovascular health. Walking is praised for being a gentle form of exercise, and indeed it can be great for heart health. But if you push too far, piling on the miles every single day, you can drain your energy reserves and leave your heart working overtime, especially if you have any underlying conditions that haven't been diagnosed. Sometimes, a person with slight arrhythmia or borderline heart issues can handle a short 30-minute stroll just fine. Yet, turn that into a 2-hour trek, day in and day out, and the stress on the cardiovascular system magnifies. Shortness of breath or persistent fatigue might creep in, but you keep going because walking is safe. The real trouble begins when a small, manageable heart concern is pushed to the limit by extended overexertion. Think about the last time you felt unexpectedly tired after a walk. Maybe you assumed it was a bad night's sleep or an off day. But sometimes it's because your body, especially the heart, is working double time to keep up. When you were younger, you could push your endurance without as much worry. Over 70, though, your heart's capacity to recover may be slower. If you're noticing that a walk drains you more than it used to, it might not be just age. It could be a sign your body wants shorter, more balanced exercise sessions rather than marathon strolls. Let's also talk about heat and hydration. Younger folks might power through a warm afternoon walk, sipping from a water bottle and barely breaking a sweat. For older adults, though the internal thermostat and hydration cues can become less reliable. If you're on a long walk, especially in warmer weather, your risk of dehydration or heat stress skyrockets. You might not feel the typical thirst signals, so you keep going, unaware that your body is slowly overheating. Or you might choose to drink less to avoid frequent bathroom trips. The result? A mild dehydration can compound the fatigue, put strain on your heart, and even trigger dizziness. Suddenly, an enjoyable walk morphs into a wobbly journey where one misstep could lead to a fall. Falls themselves are another overlooked pitfall. Many older adults have stable footing for short distances, but if you're logging an hour or more on your feet, especially on uneven terrain, your leg muscles can tire out significantly. Fatigue reduces your coordination and reaction time. A small crack in the sidewalk you would have navigated easily at the start of your walk might become a real hazard after an hour's worth of step after step. More fatigue, less muscle responsiveness. One small stumble can cascade into a serious injury that sets back your mobility and independence for weeks or months. Imagine Walter, who's 75 and retired. He decided to do a long loop around a local park daily, more than 2 miles. It felt good at first, until the day he tripped on a slightly raised tree root near the end of his route. He went down hard, fracturing his wrist and bruising his hip. The culprit wasn't just the root. He'd walked that path plenty of times. But on this particular day, he was exhausted by the final stretch and didn't pick up his foot as cleanly. That small detail changed everything. Walter now mixes shorter walks with gentle cycling at home, giving his legs more variety without the same level of repetitive fatigue. Variety matters. Long walks often rely on the same muscle groups over and over, especially the hips, thighs, and calves, while underactivating upper body and core muscles. This imbalance can lead to posture problems, an achy lower back from the forward hunch, a stiff neck from gazing down at the path, or tension in the shoulders from subtle tensing. Over time, that poor posture can spiral into chronic pain or nerve compression. A balanced exercise routine that includes light strength training, flexibility work, or even water aerobics can keep your whole body engaged. If your daily routine revolves solely around long walks, you might be inadvertently setting yourself up for muscle imbalances. Let's talk about the mental toll, too. Excessive exercise, even something as gentle as walking, can lead to burnout or discouragement. You might set a goal of walking every single day for 90 minutes, but if you skip a day because of weather or fatigue, you feel guilty. And when you do push through, you might notice soreness that puts a damper on your mood. Exercise should enhance mental well-being, not create stress or a sense of obligation you dread. But for some, those long walks morph into a rigid routine that they feel they have to maintain, even if their bodies protest. For example, June is 78 and has always believed in no pain, no gain. She started walking a few months after she retired, and each time she felt comfortable, she'd tack on extra distance. At first, that progression felt empowering. Then came the moments she'd get home to throbbing feet and wonder if she could do it again the next day. She'd push herself anyway. Eventually, she grew nervous about her next walk, anticipating the pain. That fear turned into tension, affecting her sleep and mood. What was meant to be a relaxing, healthful habit became a source of anxiety, exactly the opposite of what she wanted. Nutrition is another piece of the puzzle. Many older adults unintentionally undereat protein or essential nutrients. When you engage in lengthy walks without fueling your body properly, you run the risk of muscle breakdown and slow recovery. It might be a subtle process. You feel just a bit more fatigued each day, your muscles ache a bit more, and it takes longer and longer to bounce back. Without adequate protein, vitamins, and minerals, your body can't repair tissues. Long walks thus become a slow drain instead of a beneficial workout. And let's not overlook the aspect of social isolation. Some older adults step out alone for these extra long walks, thinking it's a peaceful break. Peace is good, but if it's daily extended solitude, you might be missing out on social connections that can keep your mind and heart strong. Loneliness can creep in, ironically, if your only daily commitment is a solitary walk. Sure, for some people, That quiet time is therapeutic. But for others, especially those who aren't connecting with loved ones or community groups, these long walks can become a lonely routine, one that might feed mild depression if there's no social balance. Sometimes, an abrupt desire to walk more can even stem from emotional restlessness. Maybe you're dealing with loss, or coping with health anxieties, or searching for a sense of purpose after retirement. Walking becomes a go-to solution, an escape, or an attempt to prove you're still strong. There's nothing wrong with seeking therapy in nature's calm. But if you notice you're upping the distance constantly, partly out of restlessness or the need to distract yourself from underlying worries, it's worth pausing to reflect. Emotions can drive us to overdo what starts as a healthy practice. Now, you might be thinking, does this mean I have to give up my walks? Absolutely not. Walking can remain a wonderful activity. The key is balance and awareness. Shorter, more frequent walks often bring more consistent benefits than pushing yourself too far in one session. Mixing in other forms of low-impact exercise, like gentle yoga, tai chi, or light strength training, can give your joints and muscles a varied workload. That variety protects you from the repetitive stress that extended walks can cause. Don't forget to tune in to your body's signals. A mild ache or unusual fatigue isn't just random. It's a clue. If you're feeling persistently exhausted afterward, or if your knees complain for days, it's probably time to scale back. Rest is as essential a part of fitness as movement. Incorporating a rest day or rest days can make all the difference. That break lets your tissues recover and adapt, so you return to activity feeling stronger, not weaker. Hydration is crucial, too, especially if you live in a warmer area or walk during hot parts of the day. Carry water and drink it even if you don't feel thirsty. If you worry about bathroom access, plan shorter loops or walking areas near facilities. It's not a sign of weakness to prioritize your comfort and well-being. Dehydration is a serious risk for older adults, and ignoring it can quickly turn a healthy walk into a draining ordeal. You might also consider having a companion. A friend, neighbor, or family member can make a moderate walk more enjoyable and safer. If anything happens, you're not alone. Plus, having someone to chat with often means you naturally moderate the pace and distance, pausing now and then, which can reduce strain. Social interaction during exercise can boost mood and cognitive health. For those worried about losing fitness by reducing long walks, short, purposeful walks combined with other gentle activities can provide a more balanced fitness routine. For instance, a 20-minute brisk walk in the morning plus a 10-minute core strengthening session in the afternoon might serve your body better than a 90-minute slog that leaves you wiped out. Over time, you might find you have more stable energy, less pain, and better functional strength for daily tasks. When it comes to heart health, moderate exercise is often the sweet spot. If you've been told to stay active for heart health, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to walk 2 hours every day. In fact, research often indicates that 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week is enough to yield significant benefits. Split that into shorter sessions, like 20 or 30 minutes on most days, and your heart can stay strong without the stress of overly long sessions that leave you drained. Think back to Linda, the 72-year-old with knee troubles. By switching to 30-minute morning walks, plus a couple of 15-minute movement breaks later in the day, she gave her joints time to rest and recover between sessions. She also added light squats, using a chair for support, along with a few simple exercises for her hips and core. Over a few months, that persistent knee pain improved. She still enjoys walking, but she no longer feels compelled to transform it into a marathon to prove she's doing enough. And remember June, who used to adhere to that no pain, no gain mentality? She began to realize that pushing through pain wasn't making her stronger. It was eroding her motivation and causing her dread. After talking with a physical therapist, she replaced some of her walking with gentle water aerobics twice a week. The buoyancy of the water relieved the impact on her joints, yet she still got the aerobic benefit. She now looks forward to her pool days and keeps her walks at a level that feels good rather than punishing. In short, a balanced approach respects your age, honors your body signals, and still prioritizes movement. A few short walks can be just as fulfilling and beneficial as one long trek. Plus, it leaves you time and energy for other enjoyable pursuits. So the next time you lace up your shoes and consider another long walk, remember, more distance isn't always better, especially if you're noticing aches or fatigue creeping in. Focus on consistency, variety, and genuine listening to what your body's telling you. By doing so, you can keep walking well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond, while preserving the joy and health benefits that inspired you to take that first step in the first place. Before we wrap up, let's remind ourselves of one crucial thing. You are not racing the clock or proving your worth by walking farther and farther. Your goal at this stage is to thrive. Thriving means staying active, but also comfortable, energized, and safe. If that means shifting from daily 90-minute walks to 3 20-minute walks spread through the week, so be it. That kind of thoughtful adaptation can keep you in motion for years to come, protecting your joints, heart, and spirit. Thank you for sticking with me and exploring why excessive physical activity, particularly long walks, can backfire after 70. Hopefully, this conversation helps you feel more at ease with choosing balance, listening to your body, and discovering new, kinder ways to stay moving. If this spoke to you, please consider sharing your experiences or advice in the comments. Let's keep learning from one another, staying safe and vibrant together. And if you found value here, don't forget to subscribe and tap that like button. We have plenty more videos with insights and practical tips for aging well. Thank you for being here. Share your own stories in the comments, and remember to watch more of our videos for the best ways to care for your body and spirit. Let's keep walking this path of well-being, one mindful, comfortable step at a time.